Lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York. It's off to Leonard. Defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
High fly ball, right field. Grossman back, track, wall, see ya! Into the second deck. A grand slam the other way for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees are pouring it on.
For the latest news throughout the sports world, tune in to Sports Talk with R&J every Wednesday at 1 p.m.
If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clover Crest, top three corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against that podcast. Is throwing jabs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Saturday, but it is still fight day, and we are here with Throwing Jabs, Big J's, Joe Guire, Jared Jones as always. And we do have fights tonight. The big fights are tonight, and we got some other fights tomorrow. We'll talk about all those later, but first, let's recap what happened last weekend. Starting off with Katie Taylor retains her undisputed women's lightweight crown, dominates Jennifer Hahn. I thought Hahn had a chance. Former featherweight champ, a little bit bigger. We saw how Katie Taylor struggled with Jonas. I thought the size might be a problem. It wasn't. Katie Taylor did what Katie Taylor does. And, I mean, we can talk about the fight. There's not a lot to talk about. She dominated. But how does Katie Taylor cement her legacy even more? I don't see anything else she can do. Like, how does she reach to the top? How does she get to the level of Floyd Mayweather as far as maybe the public? I mean, she's there. She's on another level as far as the us hardcore fans know how good Katie Taylor is. But what does she have to do to get to the casual's eye? Joe?
Well, you know, the problem here is I think you need a great rival when you want to be on the casuals, as you put it, list. You know what I mean? If you want to be that much of a household name, you've got to be known for a fight. And I've been saying this since we've been doing this show. I wish there was somebody who really could match skills with Katie Taylor. Because I still think she would knock him out, you know what I mean? Or knock him for a loop. But it would be nice to see there be somebody of her caliber. This is like watching Michael Jordan in the 80s, where or Tiger Woods in the 90s, where like that person is so much further ahead that UConn women's basketball for the last, I don't know, 30 years, where just nobody has a chance in it. And it's hard to rank people when they don't have that great rivalry with somebody where that was one, that guy was two, it was close. Nobody's close to Katie Taylor right now. And this proved it. I mean, this was complete domination.
Yeah, if she went 12 rounds with each of the 12, 1 round apiece with each of the Washington Generals, I think that would cement her legacy. She is the Harlem Globetrotter of women's boxing. I said if Loma was female, that'd be something, but it's Katie Taylor all day. Now, if you look at BoxRec rankings, I always like to talk about the math. Some of her competition, she just needs more fights to get up on that list, because number 1's Pursoon, who she beat twice. And number 2 is Serrano. And that's got to be next up on the list as Serrano comes up, fights Katie Taylor. She's tall, she's long. That'd be a good fight. And I got to call out Jordan Maldonado. Did you guys hear what this guy said? I'm kind of ashamed at the internet that it took 2 days to come out. At the end of, did you see Amanda Serrano's fight?
Yes.
On
the undercard of
yes.
Paul and Woodley.
Yes.
The co-main event.
Yeah. Yamileth Mercado was her name. And she fought her heart out and got her ass whooped round after round. Brutal fight. This is one of those whoopings most people don't take. Most people would have went away by then. And this asshole, Jordan Maldonado, I challenge you to take all the punches that fighter took. I challenge you to a fight myself. You're a little bit out of my weight class, but I'm down, homie. This guy comes up after the fight at Serrano's trainer and said, "We thought she was gonna fight like a real Mexican." And it is one of the more shameful comments I've ever heard somebody make. He was jumping in front of her, just trying to be on the camera, saying outlandish things. Mercado's team has wanted to take action against this. I looked it up. A full day had passed, and then the morning after the fights, I looked this up and couldn't find much about it. Now you type in their names, and you'll find it all over the internet. Not something you're supposed. I thought she was going to fight like a real Mexican. If I could have jumped through the screen, like some people, he wasn't trying to be the heel. That's something that. But how do you guys feel about that in general? The nationalist kind of footsteps that boxing takes. I know this is a little bit off topic, but it bothers me sometimes. They say Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban. You expect certain things from certain guys based on what country they're fighting out of or what country they grew up in. They're supposed to live up to some moniker set by history. When there are tall, fast Ukrainian guys that'll kick your butt. I just think it's a good time for us as a society and inside of our sport to kind of take a step away from that. If it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I'm okay with that. But the long rivalry between Mexican and Puerto Rican rivalries, and we just use the nationality of the fighter to promote something that we're not getting along about anyways, most of the time. I don't know.
I get.
Well, listen, hold on. Wait, Chase, real quick. I have to issue a public apology. I did last week suggest that your Dennis Ugas was not a typical Cuban boxer. And that was wrong of me. He's just a regular boxer who happens to live in Cuba. My apologies to everybody on the island and anyone else I may have offended with my comments.
But sarcasm aside, I hear the announcers, especially on some of these shows from overseas, some of these European shows, and they expect certain things from certain nationalities, and things come out of their mouth that from time to time they throw me back that you're just saying that. And this was kind of an extreme example of that. I thought she would fight like a Mexican. You're talking about 1% of people on the globe that could take the kind of punishment she took and still be there at the end to have somebody else tell her she lost beside a doctor. That was outrageous that he would say such a thing.
No, I'm with you, but I think if you can preface it by saying